So what I want to know is, what was your perception of Africa before you went over there?
Well, really, before I go to Africa, most of my perception of Africans then, I mean the people, is the one them that I meet in England. And after that, you used to get like African a kind of standoffish, like, you know, they're not that welcoming. Not at the time you meet African, you know, they don't. But going to Africa now, when I say Africa, because I never actually go to the whole of Africa still. I went to Gambia. Going to Gambia, so I can only speak of Gambia still. But in Gambia, it was like, welcome home. You know what I mean? The people was totally different. Even music, I couldn't believe the amount of reggae music that I hear kicking out in Africa. You know what I mean? So for me, the experience was totally, I'm not going to say mind-blowing. Because at first start, you expect to see a lot of desolation, or maybe even like you see a lot of animal running about. In Gambia, there's no lion and tiger now run about a blood clot. In fact, there's hardly any dog, never mind animal, you know what I mean? So, from that point of view, I was totally surprised. But one thing I wasn't surprised, I was surprised about as well, is that, as an example, then our ancestor was taken away from home and we was brought over here, see, to the West. Over here was taught Christianity and all this palaver. Yeah? Now going back to Africa, it's like going home. But when I reach home now, it's like the home has completely changed, because where I went, like I say, Gambia now, is totally populated by Muslims. Now, as far as I know in my own mind, Muslims is not a thing that come from Africa. It is actually a thing that come from Arabia. Yeah? So now you have men in Africa who are called Mohammed and all kind of things, as if the name that we had in Africa was not good enough. So from that point of view, I can tell you I was very angry. You know what I mean? I was very angry to realize that one man is over here turning me into a fool or teaching me wrong ideas, which is the Christian man who take me from over there. And then when I go back home, I realize that those people that was left home, even though they wasn't taken away by slavery, they was put under what I would term mental slavery by the forces of Islam. Just like the forces of Christianity put us under certain things. So from that point of view now, standing here out in the West looking back in Africa now, there's hardly any Africans in Africa. Because what I see is just Christian and Muslim. And with all due respect to Christian and Muslim, I would like to tell you one thing. Africa is my home. That is where I cook my food and live my life and do whatever I want to do. No, you have no right to come into Africa and tell me how to do it, how to live. Because if you're bringing God to me, you should have known that God is present everywhere in His creation. So what are you doing coming to Africa to teach me about God? You are either a wicked man or you are a total lunatic. Now, those who are following you, I know they won't like to hear this, but those who are either following Christian and Muslim, if you are African, you are just like how sheep would follow a shepherd. And you know sheep hasn't got their own mind really. Maybe the shepherd has, but the sheep, them, they are totally dumb. And I am not a sheep. I refuse to follow no one. So I'm even telling God Himself, if you did send these Muslim and these Christian into Africa to teach me, I'm refusing to follow them because I don't believe them. Neither do I trust them because they are not good people in their heart. I can see that myself. So I was very, going to Africa it bring out all kind of emotion. It was a joyous time. It was an angry time. It was an unbelievable experience. It was nice to go back home to honor the ancestor because truthfully, I am an African. Whether a man like it or not, I am an African. I love my big broad nose and my big thick lip and all these kind of things. You know, I have no discrimination against any other human being, and I don't intend to go about teaching any other human being because I know that God is within all human beings, and all you have to know God is to live good. You know what I mean? You can't go about coming teaching me about God, about the Bible or the Quran, you know, when all it is that I know, because it was God who created me as well. Even though I know that the rest of the world don't believe this, you know, because they feel to themselves, or even if they don't feel to themselves, I'm going to tell them that to themselves they think that they are superior to the spirit that is living in a black body. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe it, read the history of the world and you will see that, yes, for some reason or whatever, people don't like the man them that they call black man. Rastafari.
So what did you learn from Africa then, from your experience over there? What do you bring back, do you think?
Well, what I bring back from Africa is what I would say, I have to think about this carefully. But I find that I was surprised to find out, in Gambia anyway, how much they like what I would call Jamaican, or the Jamaican influence. I was greatly surprised at the Jamaican influence inside of Gambia. When I say influence, I mean either in music or the amount of rastas that I see in Gambia, and I was totally shocked by that. So I can't find the right words to put it in. I bring back so many things from Africans. The experience was, it's hard to put it all into words now. But if a man cannot get back to Africa physically, then at least he can just remember mentally. Because it is important for you to know where you're coming from. Because if you do not know where you're coming from, as the old saying goes, you will not know where you're going. The reason why I think it's important, what I brought back from Africa, is the complete memory that we was a people that once had our own tradition and our own ways. And that these ways was removed when my ancestors was brought to the West. And what was instilled in us was what somebody else wanted us to know. Now, going back to Africa, I can see now in my own mind what I've brought back clearly is a clean African mind, and as I would put it, where I'm telling a man in this time that I do not want to be taught by the Christian. Not that I'm fighting against Christianity, because I'll tell you I'm a Christian as well. I do not want to be taught by the Muslim, and I'm not fighting against the Muslim because I'm a Muslim as well. And I do not want to be taught by the Hindu or no one. What I'm telling the people is this, that the Spirit of God lives within all human beings. Now, I don't need no man to teach me, because if the Spirit of God is in me, I might as well learn of God. Might as well you learn of God. Now, if you are not learning of God, you need to find out from yourself why you're not learning of God. Maybe you're doing something wrong. You know? So I would say what I brought back from Africa was those kind of a thing, like a recharge of the spirit then, and a firmer connection with Africa. I had a firm connection before, but now it seems like I've set roots down into the ground then as it was then. So it was a good experience going to Africa, and I wish if I had the opportunity, I'll go back again, maybe this time Ghana.
So would you say you going over there has brought about a change in the people that you met there as well?
Well, I wasn't around long enough to find out if me going there has brought a change into them. Maybe if I go back, I would find out. But I do know one thing. While I was there, for the 2 weeks that I was there, I was continually teaching the people them then, to remind them that, listen, even though you're Muslim, you know that one time we wasn't Muslim, we was African, you know what I mean? And it's okay, you're praying 7 times or whatever, but that, at the end of the day, that ain't going to help you. The only thing that is going to help you is for you to live good. So while I was in Africa, I was trying to, what I would say, release the Africans from out of the oppression that they are in. Because at the end of the day, I did also let the African know that, okay, you see me, I'm here to represent my ancestor. Now, my ancestor was taken away from this land. Sometime he was sold by you, the African, to this man over here who buy me. But I'm a loving man. I will forgive the man who sell me and also the man who buy me, because I'm dealing with love. You know what I mean? So I have come with love still, not to war, you know what I mean? So I've also come to help the African, because he too is involved in this. Because badness is in Africa as well, you know. African is bad men as well, you know. We're not all good, you know what I mean? So correction is needed in the soul of the African as well. You know what I mean? I mean a lot of correction as well, as I would see. Because like I say, I think that there's very few African left. When I say African left, there is man who's born in Africa, yes, but I'm on about the mindset. This mindset never come from Africa. It either come from Europe, or like I say, over Arabia. But I'm on about an African. And that is one of the reasons then why if a man say, well, you're going on about you're not Christian, you're not Buddha, who are you? I am a Rasta man. The reason for me being a Rasta man as well, it is the only movement on this planet that you can join without joining. When I say you can join it without joining, when I become a Rasta man, I never went and see no group of men to let them know that I want to be a Rasta man and they must perform a ceremony for me to be a Rasta man. If you want to be a Christian, you got to go and duck under water the past and say something of the other. And if you want to be a Muslim, the same thing go on. The imam say something or whatever, and then you join a club and follow what the other people are doing. But in Rasta we don't deal with we deal with I and I. So that means I make my own decision. There's no group of Rasta behind me. I'm not speaking on behalf of them. I am speaking what I'm saying myself, because I've made my choice, because Rasta really means the freedom to choose. It doesn't mean locks on your head, you can have, but it's nothing to do with the locks on your head. It is to do with your intention. You know what intention is? Intention is that part of yourself that cannot be seen by another human. But it's so vital. Because you can be a good person, like we were saying today, giving away, but you're not giving with a good intention. Maybe you're giving because you want your friend, you want to look good by your friend. And maybe you might even be giving because you think God might reward you after when you're dead and go to heaven. So all those kind of, intention has got to be clean and pure. I wonder if people understand what it is to have a cleaning. It's quite simple, Everything is simple. Everything is so simple. All you have to do to learn is if you're stealing, just stop it. Because you know it's wrong. And then all the hating that you're doing, that's wrong as well, and you're jealousy. And these are the things that you do to understand the God that is within you. Now, if you are not doing these things, it's because you are not listening to what you might call your own conscience, which tell you, and you won't listen. Maybe you would prefer to follow, like I was talking today, the men of knowledge, the men of Europe, who have great knowledge but no wisdom, because the doors of knowledge is open to any fool. Even if you're a pedophile or a rapist or a murderer, you can still go and learn knowledge. So we are living in the land, or we are in the land of the great Mr. Knowledge. And because he's Mr. Knowledge, he's one of the most stupidest men on the planet. Unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but I have to say this, because I'm not a racist man. But if there's a devil on this planet, he's definitely the white man. Whether it's the American one or the Russian one or the British and them, but they are the one who control all the military power, all the financial power. If it wasn't for them, if it was for men like me alone ruling this planet, nobody could starve, or there would be no shortage of water. The reason why people starve and they're short enough things is because of the way how the white man govern things, because he's the one with the power and the means to make certain things happen. And unfortunately, he's the one that is breaking God's law, living in what he call anarchy. I wonder if he says anarchy is when there's a breakdown of law and order or whatever, and man is messing up the law. But he's the one who has messed up God, has rebelled against God's law most vigorously, and is living in anarchy, and is causing the destruction that is going to come up on his head. This, my brother, he's still my brother, When I say the white man, I want you to know that the white man is my brother, because we are all in the family of God. And there is no such thing as a white man or a black man anyway. It's just your body. That is a color. Spirit have no color. So on that level, we are all one. And I'm here to tell him or to show him that differently. And when I say him, I don't want every white man to start getting jumpy and think, well, this man is saying that we're all evil. No, just go and read your history and you will see that, those who lead you. In fact, those who lead you, they are leading you astray as well. Don't think that you are with them. They've got you under brainwashing. Just for you to go to work, and then when you finish, you go and drink some beer and you go back to work and you watch football and those kind of things. You're living what I would call a shallow life. So you have, and because you wasn't put into physical slavery like us, you was put into mental slavery. It's a harder slavery to break, mental slavery rather than physical. This is why I feel sorry for my brother. When people about white man do this and do that. Me, when I come here and I study, I feel sorry when I understand the history of this country, what they've done to their own people. After all, women couldn't vote in this country until 1923. They had to chain up themselves doing all kind of a crazy thing. And these wasn't black women, these was white women. And who stopped them from voting? It wasn't black man or China man, it was white men. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm going to finish off asking you one question. And this is about coming to truth, which you mentioned before. Right? Now, I'm going to take a scenario, right?
Seeing.
Somebody is born into a family. Somebody is born into a family.
Seeing.
Who is a family of thieves, a family of liars, a family of cheats.
See.
Right?
Yes.
Now, you say, if you want to come to truth, you must stop lying and you must stop thieving and cheating.
Seeing.
That's all good.
Yeah, good.
But for the person who's born into that situation, for them now, that is normality. That is a way of life that they've only ever known. Like somebody who is abused, that is all they've ever known. And sometimes the abused become the abuser. And sometimes the reason is because that is all they've known. So how would a person like that do you think, would they be able to break out of that cycle?
Well, I'm going to show you a thing. I'm going to answer that in a kind of go-around way. Now, as an example, when we're born, right, we're born with a clean slate then. So say we're born innocent then, eh? And we don't know no evil nor nothing or whatever. Now, what we're going to learn first though, because don't forget, we never born bad. Would you say we was born bad? No, we was born good. So the purpose of coming here then is to learn bad. Cause we're good already, innit? So we never come to learn good. Because if we're good already, that means the purpose of coming here is to learn bad. So we're born perfectly good, and then we learn bad. So as we're growing up, that is the process that we go through first. So we automatically, all human beings come under what I would call a brainwashing, where we set off on the wrong road. Now, because we're good, at some point, I wouldn't like to put a finger on it, but at some point we'll be aware that the things that we are doing are not right. Now, then again, the things that we are doing, it depends on our character, because the things that we are doing might be benefiting us. We might be getting a nice house, we might have 5 girls and all those things. So even though we know that the things that we're doing are not right, we might carry them on for the pleasure that we're getting out of them. You see? Because we have a choice. You know what I mean? Or you can decide at some point that, listen, I am going to change from doing such a thing. So the question that you asked, then what if you was brought up in a house of thieves and this is all that you know, are you going to end up doing that? I am now saying that we all come under a condition where we have to start off under a negative. Anyway, even if you never born into a house of thieves, what you take on board, sooner or later when you start to grow and you reach a certain age, you've got to realize that a lot of, maybe even if it's your mother and your father tell you, what they tell you ain't right. They might have told you in a loving way, but what they teach you, it doesn't necessarily mean that they know whether it was wrong or right. Maybe their grandmother just teach it to them and they teach it to you. But at some time in your life, you need to take responsibility. So even if I teach you to be a thief, so you end up going on your thief, you can say, all right, Dad teach me to be a thief. But at some time in your life, either somebody going to tell you if your own conscience don't prick you and tell you, but somebody will tell you that stealing ain't right. So then you would have a choice whether to carry it on or not. Still. So that's what I would like to say, that even if you are born, and it would be more than logical or likely that if you are born among thieves, that you will end up stealing. But that doesn't mean that you would have to live all your life thinking, because the mind doesn't work like that. They'll continue. Because I tell you that God was in you, innit? Well, from time to time, that power that is in you will give you a joke to let you know that stealing ain't right, even though Dad said that. See? So it will boil down in the end as to come back again to your intention. Because maybe stealing, you might be living good stealing. You might have a nice house and a nice car, so for that very reason you cannot give up stealing. But you would have still been aware that it was not right. That's all I can tell you on that subject. So I would say man have no excuse, regardless of the situation. Because even if a man is in a situation, say for example he's got to kill. Now it might so happen that a righteous man have to kill a man, but a righteous man would not murder a man. If you know what I mean. That means he would not sit down and plan to say, all right, that boy riding on the bike, I'll hide in the bushes and kill him. You know what I mean? A righteous man would not do that. But I could be standing here now and then we look and we see a lunatic running coming and he's ready to kill, and we plead with him that, and he won't stop, and his intention, well, we might have to dust him out. But it wasn't that a righteous man had the intention of kill a man. But just because you're righteous, it doesn't mean that you must sit there and let somebody come in and kill you and your family, while you just say, well, God will protect us. God give you two hands, innit? Coming back to the same thing we was talking about. God ain't going to cook your food for you. These people are saying, coming back to, I will just put this on the camera there. When they say Jesus is born of a virgin birth, and we are saying, no, this thing don't work. So they say, oh, God can do everything because God has the power. God has the power to do all things and everything, but it doesn't mean that he's going to do it, because God is not like man. God obeys his own law. You know what I mean? He doesn't break his law like how man will make a law and blah, blah, blah. So for example then, God could cook your food. God could even dress you if you want and make clothes, but he ain't going to do it. Why? Why doesn't he do it if he's got the power? So you think, say, like you would say, oh, he part the Red Sea. God never part no Red Sea, because that would be sure enough. As if God is say, oh, okay, I make the law so I can do what I want. That would, as if God is egoistic. God is not egoistic like man, where he's going to make his law and then break his law just to show off. Or just do a handstand then, so we can say, oh, yeah, God did that. So I know this might hurt the Christian, but I like to say, anybody who is believing that Jesus was born of a virgin birth, you are being led astray, just like how the shepherd would lead sheep. You are literally, you have not developed your human character fully. Because it's only a lunatic that could believe something like that, believe me. Only a total lunatic has somebody's mind who is not working proper, who is not yet, cause we have the potential to develop like an egg to hatch. So I'm saying to you, only when you have not hatched and come into a new life could you believe such a ridiculous thing. But mind you, I could have done, because I wasn't hatched all the time. And when you're not hatched, you believe. Anyway, we all as humans have to go through the field of ignorance. And when you are in the field of ignorance, believe me, you can believe anything. Some people believe that God is that tree. You believe anything because you're ignorant in it. And especially if you are a believer as well, because I would like to say one thing. People who believe things, which is most religious people, they are believers. You believe these things because you don't know. But you should not spend all your life believing. You should get to know. Move. Don't believe that your brother is behind the tree. Go and have a look. And when you look, You will see if he's there, you will know, and if he's not there, you will know. But when you believe in, you let people tell you to have faith. You don't know that faith can be blind. Eh? Just because you have faith that I'm in my house doesn't mean I'm there. You still better go look and let go of this blind faith of believing. It is not good to believe. This is the time when those who are under religion, I would like to say, I hope they don't come and kill me. Seriously, but religious people, and I am not against religion. Religion to me is just like a glass that gets dirty, it just needs washing out. But right now it is contaminated. In other words, it's fully run by the devil then. If there's such a thing as the devil and he's in control, well right now he's in control of all religion and all preachers. If a man is a preacher of God, let him come and speak like how I'm speaking then. He don't have to dress up in any frock and put on any elaborate robe and be up on the pulpit reading from out of his Bible. If you claim that you know God, then why don't you speak about God? Like I can say that I know God, I'm claiming. And when I say I know God, a man who know God don't know God. Because God is like the universe, you cannot comprehend. But I know a little bit about God anyway, so I can stand up and speak about this little bit. You, Mr. Preacher Man, that is up on the pulpit preaching and has gone to this college and that college to learn, why don't you just speak? Tell us what you know about God. Don't tell us what Peter and John say or what you read from in your Bible. Tell us what you know about God, and furthermore, tell us how you come to meet God. We would love to know that. So that's why you can tell that preachers are not genuine. Because it's just like a singer who he sings, but he sings the songs of other people. He don't write no lyrics himself. So these preacher man don't know. Because if you really know God, then why don't you alone just walk about the earth and talk about God? Why you need to go and join a group of people? This is what me say. What is the big deal? You're a man, yeah? You claim you're walking down the road, yeah? and you encounter God and you meet God. Yet you run into this church and join them or this mosque and join. Why don't you alone, you know, like 7-day advance, why two on one come knock people door? If you alone claim that you know God, then you, and when you walk the street or when you in your work or whatever, you and tell the people them what you know about God. Plain and simple. But we find that in this time we don't have speakers like this, because these speakers' intention are not genuine. And if you are not genuine, you cannot know God. If your intention is not clean, even if you read the Bible 10,000 times and the Quran 40,000 times, you still will not see the truth that is in it, because you can only see it. It's not education that's going to make you see it, you know. Just because you can read and you're clever and you're a scholar, that won't make you see it that you're a great scientist. The only thing that will make you see it is a clean heart. That means you can't be a racist. You can't hate your fellow human being. That means, how can you hate me and expect you to go in a God's house? You must be a lunatic. Which human being on this planet want to hate a black man then, yeah? Because God create this black man, create him for a reason. And you tell me that you are going to hate him, and then you go and pray. How many times you want to pray, and then you think God is going to let you in his house? You're making a sad mistake. You're sick. I don't know which God it is that you are praying to, because believe me, God is a funny guy. You'll talk to God and him don't hear you. You know what I mean? It depends on what you're doing. So you might be praying to God and you're worshiping and you're doing all these things. But while you're worshiping God, I notice that you hate me and you don't like me. Because you claim, say, well, me black or me color, me nose big and me not quite human being to you, and you don't think that me is part of this human family. But for some reason you think you're going to heaven or Nafra, wherever it is you claim that you're going to meet God. But I'm here to tell you one thing. Until the day come when you love your fellow human being equally. You see, like when you see me, the black man, you know that, yes, this is a child of God, just like myself. And in my heart, I love him and respect him. You're not going no heaven. Even if you incarnate on this earth 100 million times, you will never enter into the door, just like the doors of wisdom. You will never walk through the doors of wisdom until you clean your intention. You may walk through the doors of knowledge, because that is free for all. But in the doors of wisdom is not free for all. It's free for those who are prepared and ready to clean up themselves. You know what cleaning up yourself is? I don't mean go and have a bath, you know. I mean stop being jealous, stop being greedy, stop being spiteful, stop being hateful, stop being lustful, because that's one of the hardest things, being lustful. Because men like sex, women like, it's one of the hardest center in us to keep under control. But believe me, when you're flashing it east, west, north and south, you have to tell too much lie. And lying is not compatible with knowing the truth. How can you be lying and expect you're going to walk through the doors of wisdom? So that behavior you will have to cease from doing it. If you don't cease from doing certain behavior, you will never be wise. You might be knowledgeable, because we're living in the land of knowledge. Look at the amount of knowledge that these people have. What they can build and what they can do and what they can in medicine and all these things. They have all the knowledge. But look into the soul, and you will see that in there they don't have no love. In this place, I've never seen a place like Earth. Especially over here, they says, right, a man and a woman is in love now, but the next door neighbor, they don't like that person. So I'm saying that is a strange kind of love. How is it now that you are in love here, you and your fella, but is love, innit? So the relationship, like I was saying, between a man and a woman, which you must have seen this scenario many times where people say that they are in love. I.e. you are in love with your partner. But like I'm saying, you might live next door to somebody or whoever, but that person, you don't love them. So I'm saying, well, what kind of love is that? Now, as we're standing in the park, I was going to say, I'm going to use the tree and give you an idea what love is, or what true love is then. Because in love, there's many different aspects to love. You can love your dog, love your car, love your house, love your money and thing, you know what I mean? So, but all these different love now is what we would call, like, when you look at a tree, you see many different leaves. And at certain time, these leaves comes and go. So these are the kind of love that we say, you can lose your dog, you can lose, even if you love your wife, you can lose her. These kind of love go easily. Now, if you leave the leaves and come down now to the root of the tree, which is not obvious to you, it is the root that really sustains the whole tree. So the root of the tree is demonstrating a bigger love. Now, if you broaden your mind and look where the root is set, the root is actually set in the earth. Now, the earth is not only sustaining that tree, but every other thing that is on the planet. So the earth demonstrates a bigger love. Now, if you look in the universe, you could say to yourself then, what is contained in the earth? The universe is contained in the earth and all other planets. So that gives you a wider love. So love is not something that should be just selfish, you know, where you say, oh, that is just a passing. You should have a capacity to love. So, in other words then, when you are in England and you are patriotic, and there you just love England, look how stupid you are that you are on a big planet, and somebody convinces you to love a little spot of it. Instead of you love the whole planet. And because you don't love the whole planet, you don't care for the whole. And because you only love your own family, and you don't love the human family then, your love don't extend to the whole family. Just like you're not as generous as the earth. You know, you only want to sustain just a little bit. So it's like some truths are obvious and some are not. Just like how the leaves on the tree are obvious to the eye, yet the root is not obvious. But what is not obvious is even more important than what is obvious.
Right. That's wicked. Right. You want to leave it there, or do you want to?
Well, if you want to ask any other question.
Right. All right. So, how would you describe death?
Well, first thing to describe about death. When I was a kid, I was very afraid of death. That's one thing I must let you know. But even though I was afraid of death, I used to go to a lot of funerals. And I had a fascination on looking at the dead bodies in the coffin. Even though I would dream about it for a week, you know. But I used to think to myself, how am I? Because I was claustrophobic. I couldn't sleep without the light and until I was after 7 years old. And I used to think to myself, how am I going to breathe when they bury me up in this tight coffin? So even though I was small, it looked as if my mind never believed in dying totally still, because I used to see people in the coffin think that they were dead. They're not going to breathe anymore. But I used to think to myself, when that happened to me, I won't be able to breathe. So I used to be afraid of death. And I was afraid of death, or if I wasn't afraid of it, then consciously I put it at the back of my mind until I come to understanding. Yes, easy. Yeah, man. Now, after coming to understanding now, I bring that to what I would call, like say, you went to visit a man. You know, a man who is very wise or who know about things, and you went to have a talk with him. So I went to talk to death and let him know, well, you know, I've looked about in life and I see that everything have to die. I would like to live a long time myself as well, but I realize that I have to die and I'm afraid. What can I do about this matter, being afraid? So that has shown me then that it doesn't really matter whether you are afraid or not. That doesn't come into it. You know, whether you are afraid or whether you are not afraid, you are going to die. Now, I might come for you when you're old, or I might come for you when you're young. I might come for you on your own, or I might take lots of you all at once. But whether or not you're going to die, because man have to die. You can see it in the whole of history. You have to die. But having understand the self to a certain degree, when I say a certain degree, I realize that I am not only a physical man, I am a spirit living in a physical body. Now that changed the equation slightly when they show me these things. Because that is saying to me, if you study yourself, you will see that the physical, which is a changing thing, not only your body but the physical world around you, is a changing thing, and that is what will bring death. If it don't come to you accidental and you live out your days, change, because the body is always subject to change, is going to die, so the body will die. But he says to me, you are a spirit. Can't you see that your spirit is constant and never changes? From you know yourself as who you are, that's who you are. You've always been that. So the spirit is not living in the time zone as it was then, because it's not subject to change. So when change comes to the physical, it does not affect the spiritual as it was. But if you are not, this is where it comes down to it again, if you are not living good and living clean, you won't see these things. And because you are not living good and living clean, you are likely to be afraid of death, because you will believe that death actually exists. But what I want to tell you, you must notice one thing, that while you're living, just like I'm talking here now, my friend Kenny is videotaping me and video. But I have got a natural video inside of me. You have as well. It's called the memory. It tapes everything inside of you, what you're doing. Now, it is not something physical, like a physical body, because if it is, they will be able to cut it and have a look at it and analyze it and whatever. It is a non-physical thing. So when you actually die, that is the part with your mind that is going to go along, you know what I mean? That won't be going in the ground with you, you know. Your brain might go in the ground. But remember one thing, the spirit is not the brain. You know, the brain is like a car. You have a car and it have an engine and wheel, but you need a man to drive it either by remote or sitting in it. So this body operating the same way. It is a car that is driven by the spirit that you hear speaking. A spirit that you cannot see and will never see. Because even though you think that you're looking at me and you can see me, you can't see me at all. And you might think, oh, that is ital, and but you don't know me. I don't even know myself to that, you know. I never seen myself. I just know that we're very mysterious beings, you know what I mean, and that we live in a world that, believe it or not, we are not visible. And for you to see or even understand somebody else, these eyes, that's why the man that they call Jesus tell you, they have eyes to see yet they do not see, and they have ears to hear yet they do not hear. He wasn't talking about blind people who was blind. He was talking about men who could see with their eyes and people who could hear. But because of the way that they was living, they could not see. Because even though you think you can see, you might not see. I would like to say one thing to the majority of the world. You might think that you are alive, and because we was talking about that, and a lot of you are afraid of death, but believe you are already dead. You are afraid of what's happened to you already. What you need to do is to wake up from the dead. Like the Christians say, resurrection. But don't wait for resurrection to happen after you die. Do it while you are alive. Resurrect from the dead and come to life. Believe me, because although I know people find this strange, but I'm telling the majority of the world, scholars or whoever you are, believe it or not, even though you're walking about, driving car, eating champagne, dancing and doing all these things and talking and people can hear you, you are not alive. You are totally dead. Think about it carefully. You cannot be alive until you know yourself or until you live good. It doesn't matter if you are a great artist or a great singer or a great painter or a great footballer. It doesn't matter if you own 5,000 billion, that is on the paper. That doesn't mean that you are alive. Because you can only be alive when you decide to stop living bad and live good and clean up your ways. You know, you think money is going to make you be alive? You're going to be dead. So that's what I'm saying to the people now. Why be afraid of death when you are already dead? Yeah? It's better you try and wake up from the dead. I appeal to the world to what they say though, the man them say like a man under hypnosis. You know, instead of saying that you're dead, because dead might be a bit too harsh, and people say, oh, we're not dead because we're moving about. Let's just say you're hypnotized then, you know. So you're moving about, but you are under hypnotism. Because you haven't come to your own senses, and you cannot think for yourself. Think about it. You don't use your own faculties. Imagine this: that God created us, all human beings. And when I'm not talking about man, I'm talking about man and woman. Because a man might be powerful enough to say, lift up a big brick, and a woman cannot do it. But when it comes to wrong and right, there is no power that is involved in that. The same strength that a man have not to do wrong is the same thing that a woman have. So you just imagine this then, that the Creator then, you don't want to say God or whatever, but the intelligence that brought us about, instill intelligence in us to live intelligently. And look how we are living. We're not living intelligently. As far as I can see on this planet, even animals live more intelligently than man. Man is living, because don't forget as well, I would like to tell man this, I forgot to tell him. You have, right, a beastly nature and a spiritual nature then. So if you want, you can live as a dog or worse than a dog. Hence the fact that you have men moving about the earth behaving like with doggish mentality, you know. Animalistic, worse than animal, because animal only do things to suit themselves, like when they're hungry they kill and eat. But these savages don't do that. They just kill and kill and kill and kill and kill and kill and kill. And they're just doing it for paper. You ain't going to take, Bill Gates ain't going to take none of the paper that he's got out of this earth, you know. And if he's the man that owns all the diamond mine, the Boers in Africa, they ain't taking none of the diamonds because you don't own nothing. Why don't you get it in your stupid head that even this planet is not yours? You're just here temporary. You know how many souls live on this planet where all the Roman or the African or China who used to live before them all dead? You will be dead in yourself, and you're fighting and killing for diamond. You have diamond and gold locked up in all big vaults. Some of you that you go down there with your private key opening having a peep on it. What you peeping for? I say yours anyway. You just lose your soul by the way that you're... It's not that you shouldn't have a car. You know, don't think that because I'm a spiritual man, I'm against material things, you know, because material things are godly things. What is wrong is your reaction to them. Instead of just having a car for the purpose, you're getting a car because you want to show off on your friend. Or because you want to think that you're going to only a car. Well, that means you're a fool. And unfortunately, like I say, it look like from the creation of the earth, the majority of people have always decided to live like fools. But right now in this time, it is not good to live like a fool because this is a serious time. This is what I would call the end times. This is the time now when you must know yourself. You must wake up from the dead. Instead of living like a fool or living like an animal. Use your own faculties. Listen to the inner voice like I tell you. Because I'm a man, that's why I can talk like that, you see, because I know the spirit that lives in man. Don't believe it, you know. Because when you believe something, you don't know it. I mean exactly that I know the spirit. That's why I can talk to any man on the planet like that. Because when I would like to make a daring statement as well. I'm going to make it on this video here. When I'm talking to man, what man want to understand, what he sees outside is also inside. So take the sun and the moon. That representing on the outside the spirit and the mind. So the distance that the sun is from the earth is about 3 million miles, I think them say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. But I know it's a long way from here anyway. But the distance where the moon is about 250,000 is a shorter distance. So when we come inside of man now, you have the spirit and you have the mind. Now most men are working in the mind. Live in the mind. But when a man come to his proper senses and wake up, now he's over in the land of the spirit. So even though I have no formal education, I've been no school and no one has taught me nothing, because I'm working over in the land of the spirit, it's like literally I'm about 3 million miles away from the mind. Because you see that the mind hasn't got no light of its own, you know. Just like they say, the moon has not got no light of its own, but when it shines light, it is a reflection of sunlight. So when we move inside now, the mind has got no light. But when you clean up the mind properly by living good, it's like you can make it full. And when you do that, you can reflect the light of the spirit. Now, when I'm speaking from over in the land of the spirit, I shouldn't move back there. When I'm speaking from over in the land of the spirit, it's as if I'm speaking about 3 million miles away from where your mind is. Although a man wouldn't be able to understand that. But I'm speaking from beyond the regions of the mind. Now, you probably think you say, wait, if you, which man is a country about him can speak from beyond regions of mine or whoever? Well, if you think he's a bad boy like me, say, because I says I'm a bad boy, and when I mean I'm a bad boy, I mean that I'm a bad man with lyrics, and I'm a bad man in the knowledge of God and the understand, and the wisdom, if you want to put it that way. Not that anyone is boasting about anything, but if you want to challenge reasoning, well, you can come and meet me. And then we'll reason things and we'll see. I will debate with you whether you are the Pope or the Archbishop. Alright, I send out a thing on this day. If you are a Pope or an Archbishop or a minister or whoever, and you see this DVD that we put together and you hear these reasons and you think, well, I would like to go and speak to this man and prove him wrong. You can find me right here in Oldham. I like to say Oldham because Oldham is... I'll tell you something about Oldham quickly. Oldham, right? Under these men's system, Brother Kenny. Oldham is the old town. Now, man use the image of, the reason why they use the image of the owl is because the owl is a bird that can see in the dark. And like I tell you before, up in their town hall, they have a plaque, and it says, Sapa de yo. And I go up there and say to them, I don't understand Latin, I need to know what it means. It says, he who dares to be wise. So, all that I know, I learn here in Oldham, because I am a man just like the bird, the owl, who can see in the dark. And I mean in the dark of the spirit or the soul, if you want to put it that way. And I learn all that here in Jamaica, we call that bird the pato. When I was a kid, I used to have one at the top of my house is here, and he's at the top in them trees, and I used to be scared of that bird because they got very big eyes. They're not doing you anything, but when you see them at night, you're very scared. But anyway, this is what we learn in the Owl Town. Because you can learn, anywhere you go, you can learn something. And I come to this town, in fact, it's one of the weirdest towns I've ever come across, but never mind that. This is where I learn most of all of my wisdom that I learn, or anything that I know, I learn it right here in Oldham, the town of the owl, Rastafari. Hey, I want to say another thing. As we say Rastafari, I want to say one thing about Rasta as well. Now, Anytime a man encounter a Rasta man, more or less him will hear about Selassie and that business. Now, I am not a man who worships Selassie, just like I'm not a man who worships Jesus or Buddha or any man. Because my philosophy is I don't look down on a man, because I know that I'm better than no man. And I don't look up to no man because I know no man is better than me. I look all man directly in the eye as an equal man. Now, it is my opinion that any man who thinks that another man is God is a lunatic. It is not only my opinion, it is the truth, because another man cannot be God. Now, any man who come to the earth like Jesus, for example, they've never told any man that they was God, because a wise man couldn't be that. Stupid. But others might hear him speaking and then say, oh yes, he's God or he's prophet or he's whatever. You know what I mean? But no intelligent man has ever declared himself to be God. Because any fool would know that, you know, the truth was before you, so you are not the truth in it. Now, there's another thing like these religious people, like I say, they like to think that they got the truth. But you are so stupid, it's unbelievable. It would be like, say, one of us now, or a group of us, take the sun from out of the sky and say to the rest of people on the planet, listen, if you want any sunlight, come to me, because I've got the light, you know, it's been given to me. That is the same way they want to have a monopoly on truth. Truth is an independent thing like the sun in itself. It cannot be owned by no particular group, neither was it given to any particular group. You know, but all can enjoy the light of truth. All can live under the light of truth if you choose to. But for you to go around, you know, with your little book in your hand claiming that certain thing was revealed to one of your prophets, you know, that is just like when you have children, you know, little children, you tell them that Santa bring in the present. But when it's you doing it. But when the children grow up, you tell them that you just played a little trick. Or they will find out anyway. So these stories that you tell the people, you know, about your prophet or this man and God do all this, that was okay when, you know, humanity then was growing as a little child. But right now, humanity is adult. So you must stop tell people those little stories and, you know, let people know that, listen, nothing don't go like that, man, you know. Truth is truth, and the only way that you can know truth. I'm telling any man in the truth or any preacher man who hear this. If you are in the church preaching or in a pulpit or in your mosque or in your synagogue, tomorrow morning after when you hear what I tell you, you go and tell the people them in your synagogue or in your church and in your mosque, people, the Spirit of God is in you. We know this a very long time, but we've been hiding it from you and keeping it from you. But what you must do, don't listen to us, listen to your own conscience. Don't listen to us men, because we are deceiving and we are manipulating you, and we will try to manipulate you. The safest way through this earth is for you to listen to your own conscience, or if not, to keep company with those who are. You know what I mean? But don't come following, don't, you know, stop praying to God, because God provides everything for you already. What you begging God for? You know, God has given you this nice earth, everything is, and you're there praying to God, begging. You must not be praying, it's better you're living good. Like I tell you, why are you praying to God when you hate me? What sense does that make? Furthermore, I'd like to say, I seen a movie one time where they said the lunatic is in control of the asylum. You know what I mean? They are the one ruling. Well, I'm telling people now, whether they want to believe it or not, but that we are being ruled over by lunatics. Not the intelligent part of the, you know, say if you look at us as a family, then our humanity as a people, and then we have those amongst us who are unintelligent and those who are intelligent. You know, I am saying then that we are not being ruled by the intelligent, that the intelligent one amongst us are in the minority, and that the great majority are ignorant. You know what I mean? And then you got the few over this great majority, who are called the real evil one, that are stopping these ignorant from understanding what is right. Although life is set up in such a way that you could even look at it, that people only get caught because of their own desire. You know what I mean? Not because there is some devil force in them to some society. Because we could say England is Babylon. Yeah, but right now in England, I'm telling you, if you want to learn a trade, Babylon will learn you one. And it's all right for you, Mr. Man, then to be saying, oh, Mr. Bush is an evil man, or America, or England. But you don't notice that you are living in your neighborhood, stealing off your neighbor. So we deal with evil in high and low places. So what I'm saying, stop watching what Mr. Bush is doing, or what, Mr. Brown and all the other evil people, what they are doing. We document all that. Now we come down to the fact, what are you doing in your little poor neighborhood that you live in amongst your friends? How do you treat them? Do you treat them fairly and equally? That is the question. The question is not what the devil is doing, really. Because I come to talk directly to you, Mr. Man, whether you want to be high or low, what is your action? Because you're busy, like I say. You ever hear what the Christian them say, before you pick the beam out of your brother eye, pick it out of you first. Say that's a true word. So before you can do anything, you must clean up your act. So it's okay you come in to me and say, oh, look what this man is doing, Mr. Bush, they're going to Iraq and they do this and they do that. Yeah, we know that, and that is despicable. They shouldn't be doing this thing. But I want to also know what you are doing. What are you doing? How are you living? You know what I mean? Because we have to realize that even though we talk about the system, is the system that do this, the system that do that. Who make up the goddamn system? Is it not human beings? Or is it the birds? I suppose it's the birds or maybe the worms. Was it them who make up the system? As far as I can see, the system is made up of human beings. On this planet, the trees is not causing any problem. It is man who causes problem to trees, not the other way around. It is not animal who is causing problem to man, it's man who is causing problem to animal and cause problem to all the air. So if there's something to be fixed on this planet, I wouldn't think even the earth need fixing. I think we need to fix man. You know what I mean? Now what is it that make man so violent, so, what is? I can't understand it at all. All I know is that within man we can either be positive or negative. If you want to, like we speak before, the devil is in you. So maybe the negative come to you and you love the negative. But the only reason why you love the negative is because you're so damn God selfish and spiteful. That's all it is. You don't love the negative because you're good. You love the negative because you're damn spiteful and you would rather be hate and greed and thing. And you think, when you do all these hate and greed and spite, you think because you build a car now that make it alright, or that you're somebody decent. But you're not nobody. You're shameful. And furthermore, remember that when we talk about that, we say that nobody can't die, All these shameful things that you do, you think you're going to get away with it. But you're not, because everything is recorded on your memory. Even if you use Mr. Bush or you Mr. Cook, you might think, now you might get the protection, the police can protect you, or certain friends can protect you in hurt, or because you make the law, you can get away with it, you break, you get protection. But I'm telling you, the law that we operate under, what we do now, the first video camera that was ever invented was by God, and He's got it right inside of you. So everything that you do on this earth is recorded on a memory. You don't know this, but it's for a very good reason. Because you ain't going to get away with nothing that you do on this earth. Nothing at all. You keep on about, I hear some people say, well, I don't believe in no life after death because nobody don't come back and tell me. The reason why you don't know that people don't die is because you don't live clean enough to see it. If you live clean enough, no man could come and tell you about man dying, because you just run him away and say, yeah, idiot, man. Because you're not living good. But because you refuse to live good now, you make man convince you say you can dead. But I am here to tell you that you cannot die. And we have a memory in you for a reason, so that we can, just like a video camera. Kenny, my friend here knows video, he'll take this video and go and play it back. You know what I mean? See what I've said, what I've done hours after when we leave this park. The same way we've got a tape inside of you that will play back everything that you've done on this planet and how you do it. You can't tell no lie. We don't need you don't need have to call no barrister, no witness, because the witness is already in you. But you refuse to accept this or even notice that it is. You know what I mean? Even though I'm telling you, can't you hear me telling you? Because I tell you, I work for a master, yeah? I have a master, I have a teacher, but my master is inside. So my master is telling me, listen, go and tell the world, say, listen, I'm inside of them. And I'm telling them not to do this and do that. But they refuse to listen because they got their own choice. And that's why they're so goddamn stupid. No, I would rather believe what my master says. Don't you can't you hear that master in you? Even if you're a man or some people are saying, is God a man or is God a woman? Now look at the sun. If it wasn't for the sun, I don't think any life would go on earth. But it is a man. You see it look like a human being? Yet no human being could survive without it, or no animal or no life. So what make you think that God have to be some man sitting up somewhere in some him and him son? But that's a good story still, you know, to imagine that God have a son and him sitting up in the sky. But only when you're little children. Like how you would tell them when they're young, to amuse them that Santa is the one who will bring the present. So when children are young, just to get them acquainted to God, because you can't just rush them with it like that, then you could tell them a little story that, listen, you know, God have a son, but you should also add him have a daughter to just to amuse them more instead of the son, because it sounds too manly, that as if it was. One thing I can't understand with the religious as well, they don't permit women too tough to speak the word of God, you know. It's only lately now I notice there's great debate going on within the church system whether to let women speak the word of God. Because obviously, because men have been bullying women from time, you know, I like to speak about how men bully women. Because they're physically stronger, they've bullied women, you know, through their strength. So they've told the women them that God only have a son and it is only them who can preach in the church and all this thing. You know what I mean? But that is an abuse of power. Because I'm saying to you then, if I have my mother and my father don't know the truth, but my mother does, I'm listening to my mother. I ain't listening to my father when he's a lunatic. But in general, I don't say in every case, but in general, in all society, the men has dominated the women, and they do that simply because they are physically more stronger. The women have to resort to more supple way of deception because women have their own way as well. But I'm speaking to both men and women here. It does not take strength to lift up what is right. You know, so when you think of, say, don't be jealous, I don't be greedy, you don't need no power to do that. And a woman don't need any power. So on the spiritual ground, we are all equal here. The same opportunity that I got to know the truth is the same as you got. I haven't got no different opportunity because I'm a male, as if God like me better than you. God is not in no friendship with no one special, you know. I am not a special friend of God, if you want to put it that way, because God don't deal in anything special. Any man can make a connection with God. I would like to put it in this way, because we can say some things now that we couldn't say in previous time. But I notice a development now that they call the internet. But I've actually switched that round and call it not the internet, but the outer net. Now, when you connect to the outer net, you are privy to all manner of information concerning the outer world as what you live in. And that is a great development. But we have a natural, believe it or not, what you see out there is just a copy of what is within. We have a natural internet within. That if you should connect to that internet, you would be privy to all manner of information. But you have to log on. Now, what would you have to do to log on? Come back to the same simple thing that we always say. First, one must learn not to hate, to be greedy, to be selfish, to be spiteful, to be lustful, and all that negative. Once one learns that, one is log on then to the internet. Not the, you know, that one that they call the internet, that is the outer. The internet is in here. Now, when you are connected to that, that is when you are connected to understanding, to gaining to understand who you are, who other people are, how the world works, how death is, and in other words, you kind of wake up, you know, because you know, privy to all manner of information, because you've connected to the internet. See? And that is the outer net. One thing I would also like to add again while we have time, because we can rap about nothing. We say, as a Rasta, we use the name Rastafari. And that is just another name for God. God got many names. It doesn't matter what name you use, God, whether it's Allah, Jehovah, the truth, the way, the light. We use all manner of name. But the reason why we use the name Rastafari in this time is because Rastafari is a digital name. Now, digicality makes things much clearer. So that, you say, the television was always been showing picture, but now they make it show a newer picture. So it's not as if we bring in, the truth that we bring is not as if it's nothing new. It just makes things clearer. Now, the thing about the name Rastafari, I'll do it quickly, because I will in the packet. It contains 9 letters. Now, when we come to numbers, yeah, you will see that there is only 9 letters that exist. You start from 1, which is positive, and then you have 2, which is negative, 3 positive, 4 negative, 5 positive, 6 negative, 7 positive, 8 negative, and then you have 9, which is the last spiritual, what I call positive number outside of the 1. It is higher than the 3, higher than the 5, and higher than the 7. It is the number 9. Well, Rastafari here. No, I am not Rastafari. I'm a Rastaman now. I represent the 9. Now, when you go to 9 now, if you want to carry on, you have to bring back the 1. So that's why Rasta is telling you, when you see me, you know that the 1 is not far behind, because I'm the number 9, higher than the 7 and higher than the 5 and higher than the 3. That's why I'm such a bad soldier. Now, when you look at the name Rastafari, now it says Rastafari. That stands for the one universe, because this universe is one. It also stands for the one planet Earth, because the Earth is one. On the planet Earth you have one race of people living, human beings, and within those human beings I'm the one spirit that watch them all, and we call that spirit Rastafari. So when you hear me as a Rastaman say Rastafari, me not talk about Selassie, you know. Me talk about, well, them people in Europe would call it conscience. But me I talk about Rastafari, the eye that watch it all. Whether you want to call yourself Christian, Muslim. That's why I was saying in a reason before, I'm a Christian, and I'm a Muslim, and I'm a Buddhist. Because truly I am all, and I'm the teacher of all, because I dwell in all. You understand? Not me personally, you know, don't forget. I am just like how you see. I want to explain this to you, and so you can get it proper. Because you might probably think I'm boasting, but I don't know nothing. All it is that, if the sun is shining and you have a mirror, but the mirror could have been dirty, but just imagine that it was dirty, so you clean it up. So after when you clean this mirror now and you hold it up against the sunlight, the mirror will reflect the light. Now if people was passing and they foolishly think to themselves that it was the mirror that was the source of the light, they will be mistaken, because obviously it's not the mirror, it's the goddamn sun. See? So inside of me now, this sun is shining. But I've cleaned up my mind and now I'm reflecting that light. Please don't make the mistake in one believing that it's me who is this, because it's not me. I am just reflecting what is within, the Supreme Master. But like I tell you before, I'm a bad soldier. Better than any soul. In fact, I'm so bad, I'm going to say it on record here now, that if the host of heaven, I know some people believe that, well, God is sitting up in heaven and round his throne is his angel and that. Well, if they come down now when I'm speaking and sit down, these angel and whoever, Jesus, whoever passed through Muhammad and Buddha, all they'll have to do is sit down and listen. The reason why they'll have to do that is because the truth is speaking. And if they themselves knew any truth, it was I who teach it to them. Because there's only ever been one teacher on this planet, and that is the teacher that is within. So whether you want to call yourself Jesus, Buddha, it doesn't matter. But first you have to know this master yourself. That is why a man like me, how do you think I can speak and never run out of lyrics? Because I know God, the simply, so you can talk on the matters of God. Doesn't matter if it's the deep matter or the shallow matter. I can speak about God, because I know what is within. Now, you too can do that. Every man can do that. But I'm just saying, every man can get fit, but if you don't train, how are you going to get fit? Simple as that. So if you want to get the mind fit, then you must train the mind. Now, I told you before, if you want to train the mind, and to get it fit, all you have to do is, coming back to the same thing, stop lies, stop hate, stop. When you do those things, that is what makes the mind fit. If you don't make the mind fit, the mind will still work, but it will work lethargically. You know, it works better when it's fit. You can get better understanding. Those mind who are not fit cannot see what we're talking about. Or they see it, but they refuse to do the work then. And without you doing the work, you ain't going to get fit, are you? You know what I mean? You might know about training and know that to go and run and do it will get you fit. But if you don't get up off your ass and actually go and do it, you ain't going to get fit. So things work logically just the same, because we are scientists as well. It's just that one man is a scientist in the physical and the other one is a scientist in the non-physical. Because some men, they don't realize that we live in a world of physical things and non-physical things. So the scientist or the earthly man, the man of knowledge, he know how far it is from here to there and what it is and things. But if you should ask him anything about the mind and the spirit, and I mean, most people don't even notice, like I tell them, that the most important thing in the world is this. The breath that you breathe. We ask them what's the most important. Oh, God, it's love. It's not no God or not no love or anything. Because without you drawing the breath, you wouldn't be able to even... Well, how could you think about God or anything? And what is the quality of breath? It cannot be immediately seen by the eye. It is not a solid object, is it? So that shows you that the non-physical, or what I would call the unseen part of life, is one of the most important parts, yet we don't notice that. Because we're too busy running down what we see. What is it we see? Is it a short skirt? Is it a, I don't know, is a portion of money? Is it land? Is it property? Is it power? I don't know what it is, but anything that can be seen with the eye. In fact, I would like to tell you people, your eyes are dangerous. Your own eyes, what you see with your own eyes are dangerous. Your eyes can lead you astray. Don't trust your eyes. That's what I tell people. Don't trust your eyes. They do not tell you the truth. Because even when you look at me, your eyes will tell you, say, yeah, man, I'm looking at the black man, Rasta man, wearing a funny hat. But I know me, you see, you see a body, your eye is stupid. I would say to your eye, listen, you want to go and learn to look proper. You know, because these are not the only eyes that you have. You know, you have another set of eyes, but these eyes will remain closed if you continue to live in the way that you live in, doing the things that you're doing. Hence, before that, we were saying you would be just like a living dead. Well, brother Kenny, we can hold that for now.
Yeah, man, that's respect for that, man.
Yeah.